Hello my girlies, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing some commentary on this video titled Vlog, Devastating News, Perfume Finds, Relaxed Time, etc. So this vlog is about 52 minutes long. So because of the length, I'm not going to be speaking on the entire vlog. I want to speak on the beginning and near the end of the vlog because to me, that's where the meat and the potatoes are. And I just want to preface by saying, at the end of the day, none of us know these people personally. I don't know these people. Everything I say in this video is just strictly my opinion. That's it. That's all. Topics like what she is going to be talking about can be kind of touchy, and it's a very sensitive topic because we're talking about her father, someone of whom we don't know, someone of whom have never been able to share his side of the story, and we're also talking about her sister. And as many of you all know, she's preparing to come out with her YouTube videos and her YouTube channel within the next couple of weeks. And hopefully we will finally be able to fully hear her side of the story. For years, we've only heard Chloe's side. And, you know, over here, we're impartial. I believe there are three sides to every story. Side A, side B, and the truth. And I believe that at the end of the day, the entire family needs to sit down and speak with a licensed professional because they're all victims of a traumatic upbringing, and who knows the things that they saw and witnessed and experienced in their home growing up, which shaped them into the individuals that we see today. None of us know. So I believe that grace and understanding should be extended on all sides to everybody. And unfortunately, when we watch Chloe's videos, we only see her spewing her rhetoric about her father and her sister, but all at the same time wanting grace to be extended to her at all times. But we never see grace extended to her sister or her father ever. So I want to approach this topic in a sensitive manner. And I'm going to let her try to do as much explaining and talking throughout this video as possible before I give my commentary. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video.
I'm headed to McDonald's right now, actually. Y'all know I done this too many times on my channel, but I'm just gonna be real. Have y'all ever, I can't be the only one that be getting my head so hyped up. Remember when I was like, girl, I'm about to make this lifestyle change. Like, I'm about to get up every single morning, cook my meals, clean my house. Like, girl, I'm finna be on it. Look at me, headed to McDonald's right now for breakfast or for lunch.
Yeah, I think a lot of us do that, but I just feel like at the end of the day, you have to have some type of discipline in your life and just decide that, look, I'm not gonna spend no money. I'm not gonna buy nothing. I'm not gonna do X, Y, Z. I'm gonna stick to what I destined in my heart that I'm gonna do, you know? So, I've been there. I've been where she's talking about before many times, where I say I'm gonna do X, Y, Z, and then end up doing the polar complete opposite. I get it, and I know for me, I still got to do better. The things that I set forth for what I wanted to achieve this year, my little New Year's resolutions, a lot of them kind of have fallen by the wayside. But you know, we're halfway through the year, and it's not too late to get back on the horse and finish strong. And that's my advice to anybody. Whatever New Year's resolution you had back in January that has fallen by the wayside, it's not too late to pick it back up and finish the year out strong. You know, you can still be a better version of yourself in December than you were in January. It's not too late.
Girl, speaking too dang soon. Okay, but I do this a lot though. I do this a lot. I'll get like super motivated, super inspired, get to getting it done and be like, whoop, whoop. So my house is a mess. I had to clean that today, so you guys are gonna have to watch me clean my house today. My house is a mess. I have not been grocery shopping, so I'm going to McDonald's right now because I have nothing to cook. But anyway, honestly, you guys, if I'm being completely honest, I'm happy, but I'm very sad, and I'm having a really down time right now where I've really been, well, all morning, I was just like, I don't know if I can pick up the camera. Like, I just don't know if I can do this morning. Like, this news that I have just gotten is some very, like, heartbreaking, shocking news. So, for any of my subscribers that really listen to me ramble and have really been watching me, you know, you are aware that my...
So, I said I was going to let her do most of the talking, but you can tell in her eyes that her heart is broken. You can just tell in her eyes. She's very sad. And I want to start off by saying she should have never shared this on the internet. She should have never shared this on camera. There are more healthy ways to vent and to cope with things than putting everything on camera. Everything is not content. I know in this day and time, a lot of people say everything is content. Everything is content. Everything is not content. It's not. Everything is not. You don't need to share every aspect of your life, every aspect of your family's life on the internet, because a lot of times it's used against you. And you think that people are your friends, your family, or whatever online. At the end of the day, most of these people don't give a hill of beans about you. They don't. And they use your real life trauma as a means of getting tea. That's the reality. And even like with her sister, I hope that she does share her side of the story, but I truly do hope that she don't make her whole YouTube and social media presence about her sister, because the reality is most of her subscribers, most of her supporters are people that's coming from Chloe Yazmean's channel, and they're just looking for tea. That's it. And so I hope that she shows us who she is. She opens herself up, and that we can see Bria and not just Chloe's sister. You know, that's what I'm hoping to see from her. And I hope that she don't put her whole life on display, because at the end of the day, this was her real life, real lived trauma. It's not tea. It ain't gossip topics. It's none of that. This is her life. This is her family. And if you watch her on her like Snapchat and TikTok, it's something she still don't open up and talk about, because it makes her sad, because this is her life. This isn't tea for other people's entertainment. You know, and I feel like at some point you got to have discernment as a content creator and ask yourself, like, is this for the public, or should this be kept private for me and my family and the people who I know in real life? And I feel like this particular topic should have been kept offline. It should have been handled within their family dynamic. Don't bring it to the internet, because you're just adding fuel to an already raging fire.
Dad did pass away of an overdose about 4 years ago. I've been under the impression for the last 4 years that my dad passed away and died by himself in his mother's home, overdosed in his mom's home, and wasn't found until the next morning. Okay, and for a little bit of a backstory, my dad had just left my house. Well, my mom and I, I was a little kid, so he had just left our house. He had just got done spending the night and everything, and he had just enrolled us in a new school, walked me to class on my first day of school, all of this, you know. So I'm thinking, you know, my dad, he had just got out of rehab, he's sober. I'm so excited. One second, let me order my food real quick, girl. Hold on real quick. I'm gonna get back to the story. Well, I guess this person in front of me, so I'm gonna go ahead and just keep talking until they pull up. So I've been under the impression that my dad passed away by himself and the overdose was by himself. There have been rumors around the family that his cousin was there and his cousin's wife was there, and they left him, because when my dad was found, the back sliding door was wide open, and how he was found was the neighbors across the street seeing that his mom's dogs were just running all over the neighborhood, like throwing up and pooping everywhere. His mom was out of town, he was dog sitting and house sitting. So I was under the impression that there was a possibility somebody was there, got scared when they seen that he was dying, and usually drug addicts leave the scene because they're scared that they're going to get in some kind of trouble. So I knew that there was a possibility somebody could have been there, and that's been a possibility and a theory, I guess, for the last 4 years.
What can I get started for you?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and have a 10-piece nugget with 1 tangy barbecue and 2 ranch sauces, with a small fry and a large water, please.
Anything else for you?
That's gonna be it.
Yeah, everything was right on your screen. 676 at the first window.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you see with that?
Sure.
You said yeah or no?
Yes. Sorry about that.
I can smell your car freshener. It smells good.
Oh, it might be my perfume.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh my God, it smells good.
Thank you.
I can smell it through my mask, so.
Really? Through your mask?
Hey, I'm good at these masks.
Right. She was so sweet. I love people like that. Thank you. You have a great day. Thank you. So basically, I'm not doing this to try to expose anybody or bash anybody, but the person that came.
All right, so you're saying you're not doing this to expose or bash anybody, so what is the purpose of this then? Because it's definitely none of our business. We weren't blowing up your email asking you to tell us all of your personal family lore and stories and business. So if you're not doing this to bash anybody, what is the purpose?
Up with this theory, went through the whole entire family and told them that she believed they were there when my dad passed away and that they left him. Knowing and understanding the history of my dad and his drug addiction, I'm aware that he has participated in doing things like that with his cousin and his cousin's wife. Some news just came out the other day from this person that has been telling everybody that they were there. She was there. And it's one of my siblings. And it's not my brother's. And this secret has been kept for so many years. And it's...
So the thing that just came to my mind from watching this clip is, first of all, Chloe's hurt. And I also think she's extremely disappointed in her sister. Now, like I said before, I don't know these people at all. But I am the youngest out of my siblings. And as a younger sibling, you look at your older siblings kind of like as heroes. You admire them and you want to be like them in so many ways. And if you watch Chloe's content close enough, and if you have been keeping up with Bria's content, you see they are so similar in so many ways, right? Their mannerisms, the way they feel about hygiene, all of these things, right? It's so similar. And I truly believe that Chloe has mirrored a lot of her mannerisms and a lot of her outlooks on self-care and hygiene from her older sister, because her sister is so similar, right? This is just my speculation and my assumption. As a little sister, Chloe looks at her older sister looked at her older sister as somebody who she admired, as somebody who she wanted to be like as she got older, right? But as Chloe got older and things kept happening within their family, she started seeing the decline in her sister, which again must have been very painful to see. You know, you grow up with somebody and you see them in a healthy way, right? They're healthy, they're thriving, their mindset is healthy, and then you see them get a hold to a substance, and then they start taking a decline in how they care for themselves and how they love themselves and how they love others. And that can be very difficult and painful to see, especially from someone that you love so much and you admire so much, right? So as Chloe's getting older, as Bria's getting older, and as Chloe is seeing this decline in her big sister, that had to be very difficult for her, right? So there you go. There's the number one example of how she's being highly disappointed by her sister, right? Because there's no kind of hurt like hurt from your family. It's no kind of disappointment like the disappointment that you get from your family. You might get hurt, you might get disappointed by friends, classmates, even people you're in a relationship with. But when you're disappointed and when you're hurt by your parents and your siblings, that kind of hurt, it's different. It cuts different. I don't know how to describe it, but if you know, you know. That kind of pain hits you in your heart in a different kind of way. Okay? And so I'm just speaking from the viewpoint of a baby sister and how they view their older siblings, right? So Chloe must have looked at her sister as like almost like a God figure. I want to be like you. I want to mirror my life like you. But I see you going down this dark path. I don't want to be like that. And you're hurting me. It's hurting me to see you hurting yourself like this, right? So she's already highly disappointed by her sister. And she's already being highly disappointed by her father, right? And in a couple of weeks, we're going to get into their dynamic with their mother. So you've got this little girl, and she's being highly disappointed by people who's so close to her. And this right here might have been her breaking point when it comes to disappointment in her sister. We all know that she has said that she has taken on the role of being that very active aunt, of caring for her nieces, the way she cared for them, making the sacrifices that she made for her nieces. And she might have done that, not necessarily because she loved her nieces so much, but because she loves her sister that much. Right? Seeing her sister decline, she still wanted to be there for her sister. She still wanted to love on her sister. She still wanted to make her sister proud of her. All of these things. These are just my assumptions, right? From the viewpoint of a baby sister, right? Because what other reason do she have to sacrifice her youth to take care of somebody else's children? You know, like let's just look at this from this point of view for a second, right? She's sacrificing her youth to take care of her sister's children. Because common sense will tell anybody, if your kids come into your household, that's the responsibility of the grandparent. You know, that common sense will tell anybody that. But in Chloe's case, she's seeing her sister decline. That's already very painful for her. But she wants to kind of, I guess, take some of that pain away and be like, you know what, I'll carry the burden of caring for these little girls. I'll step in for my sister. I'll do for them what my sister can't. I'll bridge that. I'll fill that gap for the time being. And that right there might have been very painful and very disappointing for her, having to make that sacrifice in her teenage years to care for her nieces and nephews, right? But this situation, back to what we're seeing here, might have been the breaking point in Chloe's heart when it comes to her sister. Because ever since we saw this video in real time, her viewpoint and the way she treats her sister, speaks of her sister, everything, it has not been the same. It hasn't been the same ever since this video, right? I remember seeing this in real time. And it just hasn't been the same. So this is just my opinion. Again, y'all, I think that what we see now when it comes to Chloe and her sister is years of disappointment piled up on her, piled in her heart when it comes to her sister. And it's just reached a point to no return. She wanted to be like her sister so much. She wanted to mirror her sister so much. She wanted to make her sister proud so much. But she just kept being utterly disappointed by her sister. And as the years go on, she's probably like, I can't believe you would do this. I can't believe you would be like this. I never thought this would come from you. And raise your hand if you've ever had somebody in your life that's made you feel that way. Raise your hand. Raise your hand, chat, if you've ever had anybody in your life to constantly disappoint you. While you're standing on the other side, you're rooting for them. You're believing in them. You're wanting the best for them. And they are constantly over and over and over disappointing you. In the most painful of ways. And all you want for them is the best. You love them and you want them to love themselves. But for whatever reason, they just can't. I'm thinking that might have been the story for Chloe and her sister. And from what I'm seeing right here is nothing but a little sister who has reached a point of no return when it comes to being utterly disappointed by their big sister. By their used to be hero.
Just now coming out that she was participating in it with him, and he was seizing. And I guess she tried to flip him over, tried to pick him up, take him to the shower. He was too heavy. Allegedly, she ran across the street, and told the neighbors that he was dying. And from all the pieces and the people that I've spoken to these last couple days, this is what I put together. I'm about to go ahead and eat, girl. I don't know why I'm eating this junk. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to bring any negative things to you, but I really just want to let you guys know what's really going on in my life from now on. I'm so sickened and I'm so hurt because like all I can do is visualize like the details that were given. I know for a fact she never went and got help, because when I looked at my dad's hands at the funeral, when I looked at his body was a different color. It was like a purple, blue, black. He had been sitting there for a minute. And I was okay with the fact that he died alone, but somebody was there. And you either left and ran out and never came back after he died, or you watched him take his last breath and you ran and you never told anybody. This particular sibling has always took my...
I mean, from what I'm hearing, like, there is no concrete situation of what happened. Like, she don't concretely know exactly what happened that day and who was with her father. So I don't understand why she's just automatically putting the blame on the sister. This is just what I'm hearing. If you're hearing something different, please let me know. But it's like you heard a totally different story 4 years ago, and now you're hearing that there's a possibility she could have been with him. It's like two different stories, right? But have she thought and asked herself maybe why her sister might have ran away, allegedly? Like maybe she was scared. But all at the same time, I don't even know if I can really truly believe what I'm hearing right here in this clip, because according to her sister, she was very close to her dad. So why would she just let her dad just go out that way without any kind of assistance or anything like that? And then if you're not a medical professional, I mean, in the heat of the moment, you don't really know what to do. You really don't. You don't know what to do. And it can be very scary. Very scary. Like, for example, at my church, in the middle of the sermon, this man started having like either a heart attack or a stroke or something. And I mean, he was not conscious. And the whole time in my mind, all I could do was pray. And I was just saying in my head, Lord, please don't let this man pass away in front of all of us in this church this blessed Sunday morning. That's all I could do. I mean, people didn't know what to do. It was a scary situation. When you are staring death in the face, that is scary. And you don't really know what to do besides call 911. But according to what Bria said, in which, honestly, I believe the things that she said. She shared a little bit of her experience on her TikTok. And honestly, the way she speaks, you really can't help but to believe what she says. And she's already made it known, like she don't have a reason to lie, and she owns up to everything. And I feel like if she had something to do with their father's passing, she would hold herself accountable for it. But I genuinely don't believe that she has anything to do with it. And you're talking about somebody who, at the time of this video being filmed, and probably even at the time of their father passing away, Bria was allegedly, under the influence of substance abuse. Like she says now on her TikTok that, within the past year or so, she's been sober. So it's not like she's been sober this entire time. When you're under the influence, you're not in your right mind. And I think that is something that Chloe should take into consideration of when you're under the influence of drugs and alcohol, you're not going to be in your right mind, and you're not going to make the right decisions. You're not going to always make the best decisions that you need to make in that time, in that moment. That is something to take into consideration. You're not talking about somebody who was stone cold sober, and I feel like if she slipped something in the man's drink, that's one thing. But I don't think she would intentionally do anything to harm her father. So I think Chloe should try to give her sister some kind of grace, and remember that regardless of what the story is, at the end of the day, this man was a grown man, and he made his own decisions when it's all said and done. And I think, this is just my opinion, but I feel like it's, from Chloe's point of view, it's easier to blame somebody else for her dad's passing than for her to just come to terms that ultimately this man chose his substances over his family, ultimately, when it's all said and done. And instead of just acknowledging that and accepting that for what it is, it's easier for her to pin the blame on somebody else. And we've seen from other videos that she's not very good at taking self-accountability. And if you're not good at taking self-accountability for yourself, then you're not good at putting accountability on the shoulders or where it belongs. You're not good at channeling your anger and pain onto the people who you need to channel that anger and pain onto. And at the end of the day, all of her anger, all of her pain is oftentimes misplaced. She gets mad at her sister, but she needs to be getting mad at her mother and her father. because her sister is also just a victim of the household that she was forced to be raised in. Her sister did not raise herself. Her sister didn't birth herself. They all grew up in a very traumatic environment, and they're all simply a product of their environment. That is the reality. Even Chloe, she is a product of her environment. However she is, however she isn't, it's because of the people who raised her. And it's the same thing, you can say the same thing about Bria. However she is, however she isn't, it's because of the people who raised her. Period. Period, point blank. And I think the sooner Chloe stops pinning the blame on the wrong people and pin the blame where the blame should go, which is on her mama and daddy's shoulders, that will be extremely freeing for her when it comes to her relationship with her sister. Bria was only dealing with the tools that was handed to her, and she was only dealing with the cards that was dealt out to her. Sometimes you need to go back and peel back the onion so far and ask yourself, how and why did she get hooked on drugs and alcohol? She was just acting according to what she was exposed to. And if we look at Chloe's content close enough, you see that even she have her own vices and addiction problems as well. No, she's not on drugs and alcohol, but we see in clear time where she have her problems as well. From what we see on YouTube, we see the unhealthiness. And I don't want to get too far deep into it, but we see what's going on, and it's not healthy. It's not. And it's all due to what she was exposed to as a child. She is a product of her environment. And if you are to give Chloe grace for being a product of her environment, then I feel like the same grace should be extended to her sister as well.
Dad's side, even when he was saying sexual things to me, even when he put his hands on me and I had the biggest bruise on my freaking face, even when he was saying the worst things to me, always took his side. She would turn on everybody for him, and she was providing drugs for him. She would connect him with the drug dealers that she knew.
All right, so what she's saying here, it kind of sounds a lot like what her sister say. Like, her sister claimed that Chloe and her mom, they don't like her because her father favored her more than, I guess, the other children or whatever, right? It just seems like within this whole family, it's a lot of sides being taken, and maybe the parents would, poison their children's minds against the other parent, things of that nature. So it just seemed like to me, the whole family needs to sit down and talk to a licensed professional, because none of this sounds healthy at all. None of it does.
To get him the drugs that he had. The dogs got a hold of the drugs, and that's why they were throwing up, and that's why they were doing what they were doing in the neighborhood. He was found the very next day by the neighbor across the street. That was never reported to them. It's grimy, it's sneaky, it's gross that you were there participating in drugs with him and you knew that he had just got out of rehab. I thought I had my dad back. You did it with him, he overdosed, and you left him there. Now, if he was seizing, the first thing you should have done was call 911. They could have came and possibly shot him with the narco pen or whatever. I don't really know how that works. And I'm not blaming her for his death because my dad, had done drugs. But I'm in shock and I'm in awe because of the details. She said it was blood. It was like the foam, and I'm disgusted. I'm sickened by the details that were given, and I'm sickened that you left him there. I have my own reasoning why I believe she left. Either she had friends there, and her friends were like, go, 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 and you left with them, or you just left and he died. With that being said, if I'm a little bit down to...
But what makes no sense to me is, if what is being shared here is true, why would her sister just now be making this known? Because according to her sister, none of this is true. So it just seemed like to me, like somebody's lying, somebody's telling the truth, and I don't know who's lying, I don't know who's telling the truth, but I know one thing. This family is extremely dysfunctional, and all of them need to sit down and talk to a licensed professional. All of them need deliverance. All of them do. Every last one of them, from the mama and daddy on down. They all need deliverance. And none of this should have been shared to the general public. And one thing I do know is, if this is the concrete story, then this would have been the story from the very beginning. It would have. I'm sorry. The fact that she's claiming that the sister shared all of this during the time when this was filmed, it makes no sense, because why wasn't this shared when the man first died? So that's why I'm having trouble believing what Chloe is saying here. Because if the story, like, why is the story changing all of a sudden? And why in 2026 does the sister claim then none of this is true? So I don't know what to believe. I really don't. I don't know what to believe here, y'all. And it's sad that I'm even sitting here having to speculate, because why is this on the internet? Why is this on the internet for us to speculate and talk about and gossip about? Why? None of this should be exposed on the internet. This is just another example of the fact that she don't have friends in real life, and she refuses to invest some of her money into getting professional help. Because if it was me, if I had a childhood like hers, going through what I went through, and I have money to afford to get professional help to overcome everything that I had to endure as a child, I would do it. I would do it. This is not a form of therapy right here. Talking to your camera and exposing your family members and very sensitive family situations. This is not healthy whatsoever. It's not. It's not. So shame on Chloe for even feeling the need and deeming it appropriate to even expose this on the internet. Because, I mean, what does she think would come from this? This is not healthy. It's not. And none of this brings your father back. None of this does. So what is the point? At the end of the day, like I said before, her sister is not responsible for the decisions that this grown man made. She's not. If anything, she is a victim of this grown man's decisions. Because just like Chloe was an innocent child growing up in a tumultuous household and upbringing, so was Bria. So was Bria. Bria did not ask to be born in the family in which she was born into. She did not ask to be exposed to the things that she was exposed to. So, I don't know what to say for these folks. I really don't.
That is the reason. I don't want to keep dragging it on. I'm hurt and I'm disgusted. I haven't been able to sleep right. I haven't been able to think right. Because, like, we're not talking about no stranger here. We're talking about my dad that I had just seen a couple hours prior to this happening. So, girl.
Don't get me wrong, I really do feel bad for Chloe, because like I said, like, from a baby sister point of view, she's hurt, she's disappointed, you know, because you're not going to tell me, I know, she said that her and her sister aren't that close, but from the pictures we've seen of them together when they were younger, you're not going to convince me that that's the case. You're just not. And the way that she will always bring her sister up in her channel, and the way she once loved on her children so hard and so deeply, you're not going to convince me that Chloe and Bria were never close. No. You're just not going to convince me of that, ever. I think deep down there is a lot of love there, but there's a lot of disappointment, there's a lot of betrayal, and there's a lot of pain there as well. That sibling love, that sibling bond, it hits different. It truly does. It hits different. So you're never going to convince me that those two girls were never close. That don't even make logical sense. You're not going to give up your teenage years to take care of children from your sibling that you don't even have a relationship with and you're not close to. You're not doing that. Your heart won't allow you to. But if you're close to that person, oh, it's game over. It's game over. You'll cross an ocean for them. And so that's why I guess what I'm seeing here is Chloe's she's reached her breaking point. And I do feel bad for her. In this regard, I feel bad for her. Because she was probably always rooting for her sister and just hoping that she could get it together. And to hear that she possibly was disappointing her family yet again, it must have hurt. It must have hurt real bad.
This is kind of wild to me because you guys know I have not been burning any candles due to the soot that I have been seeing in my home, and then also being aware of what soot can do to the body. I just have not been burning any candles. But with everything that I'm going through right now, I'm even taking a bath. Now you guys know in my 6 or 7 months of being in this apartment and running out this apartment, I have not taken any baths because I'm kind of tweaked out about the fact that I know that they were bathing their dogs in this bathtub, and it's just been tweaking me out so bad ever stepping foot and soaking my lady bits in a bathtub that has had a dog in it. With everything that I'm going through right now, I went ahead and I soaked some bleach all on the tub. I let it sit for a very long time.
You'll be surprised, like, the way she talks about animals in this moment, and then probably, like, in a few videos later, she ends up getting a dog. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, hearing this, you would not think she's a dog person, and then end up having 2 dogs at one point.
I went over it with some hot water, and now I'm gonna go ahead and relax and sit in the bathtub. I'm just honestly, where my mind is right now, I just need some down, relax time. So I'm getting ready to go ahead and hop in this bathtub. Girl, I forgot just how nice it is to really take a bath and just sit here and have like self-reflection time and just time to just go ahead and think about your day and think about everything that may be going on. Personally,
Water is restorative. It really is. Water is restorative. If you're going through something, soak in a bath, go outside, get in nature. Those simple things can help you so much. It really can. Just getting out in nature, getting your vitamin D, soaking in a bath, even cleaning. Those are forms of therapy that don't cost a dime.
prefer baths though, because dang, I feel like every single room I go to, they're above me making heck noise. And it's weird because I had like a weird dream about my neighbors last night. It's like weird. I had like weird dreams all night, but I had a dream that one of my family members came over and they were hosting like a party over here, like a kids party, and then they spent the night at my house. It was weird, but they were so sweet in the dream. I'm like, can we have that now? Like, I don't want no beef with y'all. Y'all seem like cool people, but y'all just mess with the wrong person. Anyway, girl, I definitely prefer baths any day over showers though.
I wonder who she was talking about or referring to. That person in her dream. I think she was talking about her sister. What do y'all think?
Because when I tell y'all, you smell so much better in a bath. Like when you get out of a bath, if you guys are struggling with downstairs area odor or behind odor, the best way to get rid of it is to soak your butts in some warm or hot water. You gotta soak, okay? I always let myself soak for like 10 minutes and then I began cleaning my body, but you always wanna let your body soak for at least them 10 minutes. And I remember finding out about the bath trick from my mom. She was like, girl, if you are trying to eliminate some type of odor and you just cannot figure out how to get rid of it, girl, that bath is guaranteed. You get in that bathtub, soak your butt, soak your downstairs area. It's something about a bath. It leaves that bath smell down there and back there. Girl, it is such a better idea to take a bath. But I'd be so paranoid with this dang bathtub, y'all. I'm pretty sure I had a lot of dog owners so mad at me for saying that I didn't want to bathe after a dog, but that's just me, y'all. I had different upbringing. My mama and my dad, we didn't have no dang dogs. My mama ain't no animal person. That ain't it. We didn't have no animals growing up. I thought animals were like the nastiest thing. They cute, but they nasty. Now I ain't saying you nasty if you have a dog, and I'm not saying that I'm never gonna have a dog, but animals is nasty, girl. I don't like animals. I don't like all that hair, that slob, cleaning up, they poop, they smell. 9 times out of 10, I will have me a little dog one day, but I don't need no shedding dog, and I don't need no nasty dog.
Okay. Well, she did end up getting a dog. And, you know, I will say, I feel like Lockett is the perfect dog for her, for the most part. Yeah, we have seen her lose her patience with Lockett, but if we get off of our self-righteous high horse for a minute, we all have lost our patience with our pets before. Okay, we all have. If you are a dog owner, you're not going to look me in the face and tell me that you've never gotten annoyed with your dog and that you've never lost your patience with your dog or anything like that. You're just not going to do that. You know, at the end of the day, she is human. So I'm not going to just like, you know, overly judge her and be like, oh my gosh, you lost your patience with your dog. He's a dog. Yeah, you lose your patience with a dog. Yeah, you get annoyed. Okay, you get annoyed. Everybody is human. You're a human. Okay, and you can read the Bible from front cover to the back cover, from Genesis to Revelation. And when you close that book, you still gonna be human. Period. Okay? Even Jesus Christ himself was what? Human. Yes, he was all God, but he was also all man. And every emotion, every frustration we have, he had as well. And that's what makes the story of Jesus and the essence of Jesus so beautiful. Because he was all God, but he was also all man. He felt what we felt. You know what I'm saying? He had parents, he had siblings, he had friends, he had an inner circle. He knew what it felt like to be betrayed. He knew what it felt like to have a knife stabbed in your back. He knew what all of that felt like. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes his example so beautiful. And that is why I will never be one of those people that just overly judge her. I can't do that. I can't. Because yes, some of the things that she does is out of pocket, but we also got to remember she is still human. And for that alone, grace has to be extended at some point, you know?
Anyway, it's so freeing being able to like be honest with you guys and tell you guys everything that I may be going through and my feelings on something, because it's really hard when your work is your life. Your work is showing your life, and it's
your work can be your life. Your work can be showing your life, but you got to have the discernment of knowing what to share and what not to share. Everything is not for public consumption. It's just not. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not. You got to draw the line somewhere. You have to. You have to. There are some weirdos out here, and they will use everything you share in good confidence against you.
really hard when you try to cover up for people. About the only person I have not covered up for was my dad, and that's because he truly hurt me. I had a lot of good times with him, so it is mixed emotions, and you're never going to understand unless you lose a toxic parent. Like, you love that person so much, but all the damage that has been done, if we want to be real, I would have to say my dad was my first heartbreak. Between my dad and my sibling, same sibling, taking her kids away from me all the time, knowing I only tried to help. I mean, I was 15 years old taking care of Ayla by.
So that kind of piggybacks off what I was saying earlier in this video. She said her dad was her first heartbreak. And you know what? For a lot of women and a lot of men, your father can be your first heartbreak. Now, when this video comes out, I believe Father's Day would have already passed. And I just want to say that if you are somebody who do not view Father's Day as a day of celebration, you are mourning that day. You might be mourning because your father is down in the cemetery, or your father is yet alive and you don't have a relationship with him. My heart and my prayers go out to you, right? Because Father's Day and Mother's Day is not always a day of celebration for a lot of people. A lot of people are struggling with a lot of inner emotions on those two holidays, right? A lot of people, it's a struggle to even get out of the bed because they're so gripped with grief of their parents physically not being here, or grief of knowing that their parents are alive, but they don't have a relationship. They don't speak. Every time y'all speak, it blows up. You're misunderstood and all of these things. And that is painful. That's so painful, right? And I feel like for her, she's grieving her father in so many ways. She's grieving her father because he, A, isn't here, and also grieving a relationship with her father that she never got to truly have because of substance abuse, you know? So I feel like with Chloe, she is now, what we're seeing now is years and years and years and years of nonstop disappointment by her family. And instead of just making it known that she is sick and tired of her family constantly disappointing her, she misplaces her anger, she misplaces her frustration on everybody except for who she needs to be placing that anger and frustration on.
Myself, my mom and my brothers did help because they loved her and they wanted to, but that was my baby, and I took out that time to get to know that little girl, and how she's being treated right now, it just breaks my heart.
And we also got to get into the mom, because at the end of the day, you're 15 years old taking care of a baby by yourself, quote unquote. That is a direct reflection on the mother. Where the heck was the mother? Why wasn't the mother doing her freaking job as A, Bria's mom, and B, Ayla's grandmother? Okay? Like, let's really get into that. Let's talk about why her mother was a failure when it came to protecting her children. Why was drugs and alcohol exposed to her daughter to the extent where she got hooked on them as well? You're not protecting your children. I'm sorry. I don't care how she tried to twist it or spin it. This woman failed at protecting her children. Point blank, period. And as a parent, and I can confidently say this because I myself am a parent. And if you're a parent, I know you can confidently say this as well. As a parent, you have one job, and that is to protect who you birthed. Period. Period. Point blank. You got one job. And if you fail at that one job, there is no coming back. At the end of the day, Chloe can point the finger at Bria all day long, but Bria did not birth herself, nor did she raise herself. You cannot confidently blame her for anything without first blaming the woman who gave birth and life to her. Okay? The Bible says to train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. So I like to look at that verse in the book of Proverbs as children will be a direct reflection of everything you instill in them, and they will be a direct reflection of everything you fail to instill in them. Point blank, period. That's why I will never sit around and say that Bria is 100% to blame for anything. You got to first look at that mother. You got to first look at that father. Why was Bria the way she was? Look at the mother and father. Why is Chloe the way she is? Look at the mother and father. And there's your answer. There's your answer right there. Chloe had no reason, no legitimate reason to be taking care of an infant or a toddler by herself at 15 years old. None. None. Zilch. Zip. There's no reason for that. She should have been out looking for a job, going to the prom, going to dances, hanging out with friends, getting her studies out. That's what she should have been doing. Not staying up late taking care of a baby. That was not her responsibility at all. Okay? It was just not. And there's no way of twisting that. It's just not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's no excuse. None. And I don't personally see how the mother can get up every day and look herself in the mirror, knowing the kind of mother she's been towards her children. Because if it was me, I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror and hold my head up. I just couldn't. It seemed like to me the mother did Bria foul, And she honestly seemed like she did Chloe foul too. And that's really freaking sad. It really is. It's sad. Because there's no way I would have my 15-year-old taking care of a child, staying up all night with a baby that's not hers. Now, it's one thing if she laid up and had the baby, but that baby was not hers. That was not her responsibility. Those are your grandchildren. And if you don't have the heart and the mind and the mindset to take care of your grandchildren and stand in the gap for your daughter while your daughter get herself together, then you shouldn't have taken them in. Period. It's better to see children go into the system and be with strangers before they be with a bunch of sorry family members that genuinely don't really care about them. I mean, seriously. That kind of junk just infuriates me. I will never understand that. I'll never understand that.
Because it's just like, she could have stayed with me. But instead, I know a lot of people have mindsets like, my child is my property. They feel like it's mine. Like, so you can't have her. I'll abuse her and not have any patience with her over giving her a better life and putting my pride aside and just saying, you know what, I can't take care of her like you can take care of her. I'm not in the right state of mind right now, and I'm not in the right state in life right now to be able to take care of this little girl. Can you take her for me? I'm not going to get too much into that because that's just another heartbreak, but I would have to say my first heartbreak was my dad, and then also around the same exact time, that was my stomach growling, y'all. I need to go out to eat. And around the same time, my sister was taking the kids away from us all the time. And you're not going to understand unless you've had, a niece or a nephew taken away from you and games played with those babies that you truly love. That hurts so bad. Like, all I can do is pray for my niece and nephews. All I can do is pray for Ayla, because Ayla has a little sister and she has an older brother.
Again, this kind of stuff should never be on the internet. And you're putting these accusations out on somebody else. Like, I don't know. It just shouldn't be on the internet. I'm sorry. I don't understand why this is on the internet. I just don't. It's like at this point you're trying to make somebody look bad. You're trying to bash them. And it's not fair. It's not fair to them. And so that's why I really do hope that, Bria does clear her name and she tells her side of the story, because at this point she deserves to. Because a lot was said about her in this video. And she at this point she needs to tell her side of the story. She does. She needs to tell her side of the story. And Chloe's sitting around saying all these accusations against her. But she has to remember, this is a time where her sister also was not sober. When you're not sober, you're not in your right mind. There's no excuse for her. But it just is what it is. She was not sober. But fast forward to 2026, you're never going to hear her praising her sister or saying, you know what, I'm so proud of her. She's gotten sober. She's cleaned up her life. She's taking care of her kids. She's making sure her kids are straight. They're good. I'm proud of her. You'll never hear that from her in recent years. But she can easily talk about her and throw dirt on her when she's down. And I don't think that's fair. And she's sitting around talking about how Bria kept the children away from her. I mean, those are her kids. Those are her kids. And you know what? It is best that you keep children away from people when you know folks don't like you or have respect for you. I mean, seriously. I think we've all heard the saying, if you don't like me, you can't care too much about my kids. And that's true. And now she's a mom. So she might want to ask herself, like, would she send her son off to spend time unsupervised with somebody who she know don't like her? No. So you can't get mad at Bria for being a mom. She's a mom. Who's going to send their kids away to be around people who you know don't like you? Ain't nobody going to do that. Not in their right mind. No.
Her older brother is in a very safe and loving environment. Her little sister is in the same home that she's in, but she's the odd one out. For some reason, Ayla's just a kid that nobody ever cared about. That's why I treated her the way I did, because my dad's mom and his stepdad, not my dad's dad, because my dad's dad ain't no racist man, but my dad's mom and his stepdad were very racist. So that sibling lived with them. So they would watch Ayla and her brother, but her brother's fair skin. He's my skin tone. They didn't care about that. He had blonde hair, blue eyes, he white little boy. They didn't care about that. But Ayla, they treated terribly. Didn't talk to her. And so when I got Ayla, she could only say a few words. She could not speak. And so she would become so frustrated, so she would scream. And that screaming was just something I couldn't even deal with. So I began to talk to her and teach her. And I just seen this little girl that was so insecure and hurt blossom into this happy, beautiful, secure, feeling like she's the most beautiful girl in the world.
Well, depending on how old the child was. If she couldn't talk because she was like, what, a year or two old, then Most toddlers don't have a huge vocabulary, Chloe. Just throwing that out there. I'm just saying. Just saying. Now, if she 5, 6, 7 years old, then she needed some early intervention going on. You know? But if she was 2, 1, 2, 3, those kids, they don't have a huge vocabulary anyways.
Baby, when I gave her back, I seen her self-esteem went down, and now she's saying that she wants to be light-skinned with blonde hair. She's acting out in ways a 5-year-old should not act, but her little sister is treated 10 times better than her. And I just don't know what it is about Ayla that people just treat her that way, because she's a gorgeous, smart, wonderful, vibrant.
Well, at the end of the day, you got to look at the whole family. You're wondering why this 5-year-old wants to be something other than what she is, but look at y'all. Look at y'all. You're very vain. You're very self-absorbed. Always focusing on how you look. You know, the lashes, the nails, tanning, all of this other stuff. Y'all, both Chloe and the sister seem like want to be everything except for how they were born into the earth. So when a child is seeing you bend over backwards to alter yourself, then yes, they're going to want to alter themselves as well. Just being honest. Okay, that's how that works. That's why when you have a little girl in your presence, you got to be mindful of how you speak to them and how you speak to yourself. Okay? That's why with me, I changed the narrative of when I'm combing my daughter's hair, I don't call her hair nappy, because that's what was said to me when I was growing up. And that's what was said to a lot of little black girls growing up. Our hair was nappy. So when we get older, we want nothing to do with our hair, our natural hair. And then we develop this love-hate relationship with what grows naturally out of our scalp. But when you give birth to a little girl, as a black woman, in your eyes as a mother, they're the most beautiful thing in the world. And you want them to love themselves. But they're going to grow up having a love-hate relationship with their blackness, their skin tone, and they're sitting around watching you have a love-hate relationship with yourself as well. If you're doing everything in the book to change yourself, to change your appearance, then little children are sponges, and they're going to absorb everything, good and bad. And if all they see is you bending over backwards, spending hundreds of dollars to change your appearance completely, then they're going to think something's wrong with their appearance as well. Because they come from you. So it just is what it is when it comes to that. So if Chloe don't like how this little black girl views herself, then their family needs to be more mindful of how they speak about their appearance as well. Of how they approach how they look and what they see when they look in the mirror. Because the little girls are only going to reflect what they see. And that's just what it is. And if you think I'm lying, ask yourself, how do you feel about yourself? And how did your mama and your grandmama and your aunties, how did they feel about themselves? What did they say about their appearance coming up? And what kind of effect did that take on you? What did they say about your appearance coming up? And how did that affect you?
Like, that hurts me so bad, and all I can do is pray for her and pray that the Lord, can clean her mom up and make her new so that she can become a mom, a real mom. I'm just going to sit here and continue to pray and just think, because family issues are the issues that hit the hardest. I'm going to talk to y'all when I get up out this bathtub.
And that's real talk. That's real talk. Like, she just said what I said not too long ago. That family pain, that family betrayal, that hits the hardest. Okay? Like, yes, that betrayal from that man might hurt. That betrayal from your friend might hurt. But when you are constantly disappointed by your siblings, by your parents, that cuts differently, because those are the people that's closest to you. Your siblings are the people who have known you your entire life, or the majority of your life. They have the exact same childhood you had. They experience the same things you experienced. They understand you in ways nobody else ever have and ever will. You know what I'm saying? And when they betray you, oh, that cuts deep. And that's why I said earlier, people can believe the narrative that Chloe and Bria have never been close and they've always just been polar opposites and all this other stuff. But me, myself, after watching this video, I genuinely do not believe that. I believe that once upon a time, Bria was Chloe's freaking hero. But over time, that trust was just being chipped away. Disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. And by the time she got on YouTube, they probably didn't have a close relationship. You know what I'm saying? And now, fast forward to today, they don't have a close relationship. But I believe that once upon a time, Chloe was Bria's baby. And Bria was Chloe's hero. I truly, truly believe that. Because otherwise, nobody gets this worked up over people they don't give a darn about. Okay, Bria lives like freaking rent free in Chloe's head. Ain't nobody living rent free in somebody's head who they don't give a darn about. It's not happening. I'm sorry, it's not happening. So I'm starting to view their dynamic a little bit differently after watching this video, and I wonder if y'all do too. You know, let me know. Let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video off here. Of course, I did not talk about the shopping and all of that and the cleaning. I don't really care about that. I wanted to talk about the meat and the potatoes of this video, which was the beginning and the end, and I think we hit on it. All right, so again, everything in this video is just my opinion. At the end of the day, I don't know these people at all. I don't know this family, but I am praying for this family, because this family is just like so many other families, riddled with dysfunction, riddled with trauma, riddled with drama, and riddled with people who refuse to go and get the help that they need so that they can be the best versions of themselves. Her family is not some foreign thing to spectate at, because there's so many families like this, so many, you know, and some people got the knowledge and the mindset to go get the help that they need, and a lot of people are just like this family. They rather sit in their trauma than get the help that they need. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes the trauma feels better than getting the deliverance. You know, sitting in the trauma, sitting in the pain, it feels better. It's more secure and comfortable to wear the pain and wear the drama and wear the trauma than it is to shed it off and get the deliverance that you need so that you can live the life that God wants you to live. But if I can encourage you watching this video, don't wear your pain. Don't wear your trauma. Don't get comfortable in it. Okay? Don't do it. Life is too short. It really is. So my prayer for this family is for them to shed their trauma, shed their pain, get their deliverance so that they can live the life that they deserve to live, because life is too short. It really is. I believe that when it's all said and done, these two sisters, they love each other deeply. You know, they love each other so deeply. And I really, truly hope that they get it together before it is too late. Because, I mean, shoot, when you're at a funeral, when you're standing at a cemetery, it's too late to fix things then. All you're left with is regrets and shoulda, coulda, wouldas. So I pray that they get it together. This is their real life. This is entertainment for us, but this is their real life. This is their family. And I truly do hope that they get the help and the deliverance that they need so that they can truly be the sisters and be the family that God intended and called them to be. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. That is the easiest way to support what I'm doing over here. And until we meet again, remember to take care of yourself, protect your peace, drink your water, and have a good day on purpose. I'll see y'all in the next video.